welcome to my channel. Today's card is going to be an inspirational card design that I came up with for my cousin Haley. We're very proud of her. She just got back to work. She got a new job, and I wanted to make a quick card to let her know how much her family appreciates her and cares for her. This card design is going to use several techniques that I've gone over on earlier videos. I'm going to be using the Nuvo Mousse product, which I have done a couple of videos. You can find them on my channel. And I'm also going to be doing the Galaxy technique using that product. I'm going to be using a couple of die cuts and a little bit of embossing. This card is made by the My Monthly Hero by Hero Arts. This is the August kit, and there are also a couple of items that came out in August also, which will be in this video. Alright, let me clear these things away and show you how I made the card and the materials that I used. The papers that I'm using today is going to be a card base cut 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. I have a black mat cut 5 1/4 by 4. I have a white panel which is cut 5 1/4 by 4. I also have a white strip which is 2.5, I think I want to say 2.5 by 8.5. And I also needed some silver glimmer paper. This is more than I need, but you need at least 1.5 inches wide by about 3 inches. The card set I'm using today is the My Monthly Hero August, and it has die cuts and stamp sets. The My Monthly Hero is a really good bargain. You can get multiple things. They have papers included. Sometimes there's some sparkle spray or paint spray. There's inks included sometimes, but almost always you'll get a really nice stamp set and a coordinating dies to go with it. And the cost for it is $34.99. That is a huge bargain. And if they start adding in other stuff like inks and things, and it's really a good thing. And each month they also have stamps and die cuts and papers and things that complement the kit for that month, and that's where I picked up this one. So this is the My Monthly Hero for August, and this is the Dream Big stamp set. I'm also going to be using, let me move this aside real quick, this Nuvo Mousse products. I have 4 colors. Let's see, this one is Spring Green, Lilac Lavendar, Cornflower Blue, and Aquamarine. If you didn't have this product, you could just use regular Distress inks or Distress Oxide in its place. I just wanted to try and see how this would work for the Galaxy technique. I'm also going to be using Hero Arts Unicorn White, my go-to black ink, which is Versafine Onyx Black. I'll need a Versamark watermark pad because I'm going to be doing a little embossing. And I'm using the black Soot and the Faded Jeans Distress inks. I'm going to be doing some adhesive work, so I need the Ranger Multimedia Matte, but any adhesive that you have will do. I have 2 punches from Fiskars. One's a large cloud and one's a small cloud. I'm also going to be using some Gold Perfect Pearls, which you can leave that off completely. You don't need it, but I thought it added a little bit extra something. I'm also going to be using some rhinestones. Alright, let me clear this materials away and I'll show you how I made this card. I'm going to start out doing the background. So I'm bringing in my book, which I have mentioned a couple of times already, which is where I store the pads for my ink blending tools. You can find a video on my channel how I set this up, but this was a real time saver and I highly recommend you make one. So I just need to pop off the sponge for the faded jeans, and I'm ready to go. I already have the one for the black soot. Each one of these Nuvo mousses, I have gotten a finger dauber to help me spread this material because I don't want to use my fingers, even though you can. You could also use the larger blender tool, but I'm going to just stick with the finger daubers. And I have them in order so that I can keep track of which one is which and I don't accidentally use the wrong color. So I want to protect my work surface, so I'm bringing in a piece of copy paper, and I'm taking the white panel. And what I need to do, I'll just show on one, and then I'll just forward through because this is pretty self-explanatory. I just take a little bit and just spread it in about where I want it to be, and it just smoothly blends right across the paper. So I'm going to just go through and do all of these one at a time. I also took a moment to put some gloves on because I don't like this messy all over my fingers. Now I'm going to go all over the entire surface with the blue because I want the blue to be the primary color that is seen. And as with all Galaxy techniques, it looks a little strange at this point, but you just have to hang in there. It will be fine. And I think I got my tops mixed up, but it's okay. Now I'm going to use another blending tool, which has gotten away from me. I'll just use this one. Get the extra off. Make sure it's dry because I'm going to put this into my faded jeans, but I don't want to get this product onto my pad. Okay. I'm going to start off picking up some, and I need to go over the entire surface with the Distress ink because I want this to react with the water, and it won't really do it otherwise. Okay, I'm trying to just focus on blending the two colors together where the two colors meet, and now I'm going to bring in my larger tool and just go over the whole thing. And this blends out all of the areas where the two colors are not quite covered, and make sure that there's no white areas. Okay, I think that's good. Now I'm going to go over the whole thing with the black soot to darken it up, and I'm especially paying attention to the edges of the paper. Okay. Now I need a water bottle and a paper towel. If you didn't use a Distress ink, skip this step entirely because it won't work. So I'm going to spritz over the panel with the Distress ink very lightly. Wait a few seconds, and then dab off the water with the clean paper towel. Ooh. And because this paper towel has some texture to it, the texture transferred to the design. This is an unexpected happy accident. Wow, I love it. Okay. Now I'm going to take and add some stars with this white. So I need a paintbrush and just put a little bit of ink on a block. Spritz it with a little water. And just flick right onto the panel. Okay. And I'm also going to take a water mister, which has a little bit of white perfect pearls in it, and I'm going to give that a spritz to add a little bit extra sheen. Now I'm going to take my heat tool and dry this whole thing off. Okay, looks good. It's really shiny and sparkly, and it's got a lot of action going on it, and the texture from the paper towel is really, really neat. I like that. Okay, let's clear this stuff away real quick and move on to the next step. Next, I'm going to move on to the embossing of the panel. So I have an embossing buddy, and I'm going all over the front to make sure that there's nothing sticking or wet, because I don't want the embossing powder to stick anywhere except on the stamping. I'm bringing in my Mister tool, and I've already put the stamp that I want, which is this little boy on the moon. So what I need to do is stamp the stamp, even though I'm using a die cut, because I want to get his fishing pole. So I'm going to put this panel in, hold it in place, hold it on this side with my magnet so it doesn't move. Double check. Yep. And I'm going to just stamp this with my Versamark. I'm not getting any on the moon if I can help it, because I just want the fishing pole part. Give a good press, make sure it transfers. And I'm going to do it twice just to be sure I got it. Okay. I'll dip this into the white embossing powder and we'll see what happened. Yep, I got it. And I got a little bit more than I wanted. If this happens, if I press a little hard, and I don't know if you can see it, yeah, the inside of the stamp picked up. So just take a clean paintbrush, take a smaller one, clean paintbrush, and just knock that off. So I'm going to do that off camera. Okay, everywhere else where if there's a little bit of white, it's fine because it'll just look like a stars. So I'm going to bring in my heat tool and emboss this real quick. Let your gun heat up a little bit before you start, so that way you'll have limited time of the heat on your panel. Okay. Now I just need to give this a second to dry because I'm going to have to do some more embossing. And it's starting to warp a little bit, so just give it a press back. It's fine. It's very forgiving. Now I'm going to take the sentiment and make it look like it's at the end of his fishing pole. So I want to line the Y up with the end of the fishing pole string. Want that to move, and transfer that to the door. Okay. Hopefully I won't do the same thing with the non part that I want to be on there. Do that twice, make sure I got it. Okay, dip that back in. Let's see how we did. There we go. Can you see it? There. Flick off the extra. And I have just a little bit that I don't want, so I'm going to quickly get that off. Alright, now I'm going to heat this up. Now set this aside to dry. I'll clean these stamps later. And now I'm going to move on to the inside the card. I am finished with this. So move this out of the way so I don't have a mess. And my card base is going to have a girl and some stars, but I'm not going the wrong direction. Oh, that's right, I just picked them up. Duh. So now I'm going to move on to the card base. So I want the girl who's looking into the sky and some stars. I'm putting the stars here so I know where I want it. And the sentiment which says dream big. Make sure it's straight. Okay, now I'm moving the stars out temporarily and transferring the girl and the sentiment. Hold it with my magnet. Versafine. I may need to do this twice because the girl is a solid image, and anytime you're stamping a solid image, sometimes the ink doesn't transfer quite thickly enough and you get little splotchy areas. So I'm going to do that 2 times to make sure that I got it. And this is the benefit of using the MISTI. You can stamp over it as many times as you need. So let's clear this up. And move this out of the way. And bring the stars back in. I could have done this at the same time, but I wanted the stars to be a little different, and I didn't want to have to deal with the girl and the sentiment, and you'll see why. So now I'm bringing in my perfect pearls, which I have on a coffee filter so that it doesn't make a mess. And I'm inking again in the black. I could also use the Versamark pad for this, but this will do just fine. So this is still a little wet. So while it's wet, I'm going to take and dip my paintbrush into the perfect pearls and just go over the stars. And it will stick right to the ink. And that makes them a little bit nicer, I think. Alright, let me take this and knock this extra off. Okay, to set the perfect pearls, you just take and spray in the air and just rub this through the air. You don't spray on it, you just spray near it. And the little bit of moisture will make the perfect pearl set. All right, set that aside. Moving right along, making good progress here. And now the only thing left is to get my front panel finished up. Come here, you. So the moon, I have a die cut here from this die cut set, and I'm going to die cut it 4 times, and then I'm going to stack them on top of each other and give it a little bit of dimension. So I need to go off camera for my die cut. I'll be right back. Okay, now I have the die cuts. I felt 4 was enough. I could have done a few more, but I think 4 is enough. So I'm going to take the multi-medium mat and stack these die cuts one on top of the other to add the dimension for this. From this point on, it's just assembly of the cards, so I'm going to just let the music run and enjoy the music, and I'll be back at the end. I forgot that this was a 1/4 inch longer than I needed because I wanted to embellish the inside. I didn't catch that until after I had put the tape on it. Don't make that mistake when you make this card. So trim this to 3 3/4. Okay. Set that aside. Now, back to the music. Alright, that's the finished card. I think it's, despite the few boo-boos that I made, it's a really simple design, and I hope you'll try it yourself. I hope Haley likes it, and I think I'll try this card again using a few other colors for the highlight. I like how I did this one better than this one because I spent more time blending on this one than I did on this one. So there's a lot of areas where it looks like just clouds set. It's not as blended, whereas this one looks more cohesive. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. Just leave a comment. And as before, I am going to give away one of these cards to whoever sends a comment on this video. So as with all the others, also, in order to receive it, you have to give me your address, but please, please, please don't put your address on this comment or on my Facebook page. Thanks for watching. I'd like to thank my brother David for the music that he provides, and I'd like to thank everyone who helps me with your positive feedback and your suggestions for how I can improve my videos. Thanks for watching and have a great day. Again, congratulations, Haley, on the new job. Take care, everyone. Oh, I almost forgot. Sparkle. There.